Hi Michael, you are the first time over here in our greenhouse, and our guys would like to know a little bit more about you, your company, your job, and so maybe you introduce yourself and explain a little bit what you are doing in your job as a product development manager in this famous mail order company in the UK you're working for, and tell us a little bit what you like the most in your job.
Sure. Well, I work for Thompson & Morgan, which is mail order plant company in the UK. We've been around since 1855, so lots and lots of years of experience.
Oh, you don't have any grey hair?
No. selling seeds since 1855, but actually selling plants within the last 20-25 years, and that's really the bigger part of the business now. And so my role is new product development manager. So I'm traveling around lots of different trials in Europe, kind of sometimes further afield, looking for those brand new, different and unusual plants. And so it's kind of
the new one.
There's one. It's my passion. I'm used to looking for things that are different and things that I'm always looking for plants that people can't find in the garden centre or DIY store. So looking for garden performance, maybe rosebud petunias or dahlias that have got a really different look, but are maybe a little bit taller than you would find in a garden centre. So something that would look good in an English border or maybe on a patio. A lot of people in the UK have got smaller gardens now, so they're planting a lot of things on the patio. So sometimes mixing edibles with flowers, looking for colour and performance. In the UK, we're very fussy as well. We want things to flower for a long time. So I'm always looking for plants that will flower for 3 or 4 months of the year. So we're very impatient with plants we expect a lot from a bedding or patio plant.
So you want to keep the promise.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the reason why we do also summer garden trials over here. We don't just want to sell something for just a moment, but for the whole summer. So if you look back to the garden of your parents or the grandparents, and what changed, if you remember the old times and you see a modern type of gardening, where do young people source their plants, where do they buy the material, and how do they use it? What's the difference to the ancient times and the traditional, well-known English garden?
Yeah, well, I think my parents' garden was very much a typical English back garden, so had a little bit of an area growing vegetables, kind of an almost informal area with flowers as well, and it was a lot of varieties that had been grown for years and years and years. So especially with the vegetables, it was my dad was growing, radish French breakfast or carrot early Nantes, so wasn't really trying the newer varieties. And I'd like to think that these days people are trying those newer ones which have got better disease resistance, even in terms of flowers, ones that are longer flowering. So I think people are very open to trying new plants, and mail order plants is such a big business now as well, that there's a lot out there. We get people's attention with brand new introductions like the fuchsia berry, or brand new petunias such as we see here, or the range of Bidens that are just behind us over there. And people are willing to try these things, and there's a lot of adverts in the newspapers, magazines, advertising these new plants, and sometimes novelties. We're running the tomtato, as I'm sure you've heard of, and the egg and chips plant, which is aubergines and potatoes on one plant. So trying to get people's attention with brand new plants that they can't find in the shops. So hopefully UK gardens have got plants that are giving longer flowering, better performance, disease resistance, and plants that they're going to order again and again. So they're going to really buy into those brand new varieties.
So do you see this kind of trend to urban gardening just only in the cities, or it's also on the countryside, or do you see also other trends like social responsibility and fair trade and these things in the business?
There's definitely, in developments in towns, there's a lot of smaller gardens. So people either haven't got a garden, maybe they've only got a patio, so they're then looking to grow vegetables or fruit varieties or the tomtato on the patio because it's space saving. So people are looking to save that space, but they also want to grow their own fruit and veg and kind of see what it tastes like, the difference between buying from the supermarkets.
Making some old strawberries.
The convenience as well. Also in terms of flowers, people are then growing a lot more in patio pots. So that could be summer annuals, but also some cottage garden perennials in patio pots, which is a really different look for a UK garden. It's almost like a containerized version of a cottage garden.
Where do young people, which are at least over here not that trained and well educated in gardening, because it's not any longer the tradition to grow up at home in the parents' gardens, where do they source the information how to run such a patio garden?
I think it more likely would be online these days, so they would they'd probably just Google the question first of all, rather than looking in a gardening reference book, which is what I'm used to. Or looking on Facebook, obviously Twitter, Instagram, which is something that we do at Thompson Morgan. I know you're also quite strong in that at Volmary. I've also got my own personal accounts where I then interact with a lot of customers in the UK and gardeners, and they kind of can ask my advice, and they can learn a lot about brand new plants that they wouldn't usually see. They can learn about different gardening styles. Also lots of gardening shortcuts as well, because younger people perhaps have got less time or are less patient. They certainly wouldn't be growing from seed as much, so they're looking for plug plants, maybe garden ready size plants, even pre-planted patio pots that we sell at Thompson & Morgan now. So they're really looking for all of those shortcuts, and maybe even what we call in the UK gardening hacks. So that would be where they're looking for products around the home that they can use in order to maybe feed their plants, such as good example would be feeding an orchid with banana puree, for example, because it gives a bit of potassium. So people find that interesting, and there are also things that are very good for getting viral online. So then people will pass it on to their friends, and then people start to learn about these different ways to treat their plants and get the best out of them.
So things change. And so to come to an end, what kind of plant did you like over here in this greenhouse the most? What had been your favorite up to now on your short strolls through the benches?
I've seen some great new coloured petunias in almost 3 or 4 different colours on one flower. Some nice new Bidens as well, in colours that again I could never have imagined years ago.
The red and yellow.
Dahlias, there's a really nice red and white dahlia. Also verbena with flowers just like a hyacinth too. And fragrance, a lot of people underestimate fragrances in verbena too. So I've seen a lot so far, and probably more than I can even list in the catalogue from 1 year. And I've still got more to see over there as well.
Okay, so we can be... there will be something to discover in your catalogue for the next years, I think.
Lots of colour, lots of fragrance, lots of long flowering, and plants that the UK hasn't seen before, so that's exactly why I'm here.
Okay, thank you.